In today's video, we are going to cover an installation process of a mirror-mounted dash camera using Vantop H612 as an example. It comes with a rear view camera and a GPS sensor. If you want to learn more about this dash cam, I'll have a link to a full review of it in the description. So let's get to it. First, install a Class 10 or higher micro SD card up to 128 GB. Next, plug in the charger into the camera and into a 12-volt socket. You may have to turn the key on to power it up. That way we can confirm that the device is working before we install it. Also, we can go ahead and format the SD card. Next, let's plug in the rear view camera and make sure that it's working too. You can see the image on the screen is reversed just like it would be in a regular mirror. Once we confirmed that everything is working, let's go ahead and install the dashcam on the existing mirror. Hook the rubber straps around the back. And this is what it's going to look like. Next, let's plug in the charger, the rear view camera, and the GPS sensor into our dash cam. Bundle up all three wires together and feed them into the headliner. And guide them toward this A-pillar cover. Mine has a handle, so it probably has a couple screws right there behind these covers. Otherwise, this cover will just pop out. Now the GPS sensor has adhesive tape on the bottom, so you can attach it anywhere on the dash by the windshield with the letters pointing up. Now, to get the charger plugged into a 12-volt socket, I am going to continue moving downward, remove this weather stripping and this cover right here. And run it underneath the dash all the way to the glove box, and from there to the 12-volt socket. If you want to place your rear view camera somewhere on the inside of the vehicle, you can just run the wire around the headliner all the way to the back. If you want to place it on the outside, there is a few things you want to keep in mind. For example, if I place the camera near the license plate, I may have some interference with the lights illuminating the license plate. Placing it further back may cause some interference with the tailgate opening. Placing it in random spots may cause interference with gaining access to things like spare tire or trailer hitch and stuff like that. Now for this pickup truck specifically, they make handles with a camera built into it. The problem with it is not adjustable. You can't change the angle, but it is definitely an option. I'm not sure if it would work with this particular dash camera, but definitely a thing to consider. Another thing to remember, make sure you know where the top and where the bottom of the camera is, so you don't put it on upside down. Mounting the camera is very simple. Clean the mating surfaces and use a two-sided sticky pad. You can also use the screws where appropriate for a more solid mounting. But before we mount the camera, let's run the wires to it and make sure they can reach. Thanks to the design, you can disconnect the wiring harness from the camera and run it separately. The first thing you want to do is find some wires that come from the tail lights or the tailgate and see where they go into the body of the vehicle. Now, if let's say you have a minivan and you want to place your camera on the outside, like right here, you can find a wiring harness by opening the tailgate and looking for wiring boots, like this one. The camera is placed somewhere here. We just run a wire around like this and through this boot. If there is no reverse lamp in the tailgate, we may have to tap the red trigger wire into the side tail light, but more on that later. In my case, I had to follow the wires down to the driver door. Pop some panels out. Poke a little hole and feed the wire from the mirror toward the rear view camera. Once I confirm the routing and that the wire is going to reach the camera, I can proceed with mounting it. Now, when it comes to the red trigger wire to let your camera know you are in reverse, the first thing we want to do is remove one of the tail lights. Next, let's turn the key on without starting the vehicle and put it in reverse. Make sure to use parking brake and wheel chocks as necessary. Now that we have our backup light illuminated, let's go ahead and disconnect the connector to it so we can check which wire is power and which wire is ground. Using the most basic multimeter, let's check the voltage at the connector. If we plug the leads one way, the voltage will be positive. If we plug them the other way, the voltage will be negative. When the voltage is positive, the red lead is connected to power and the black lead is connected to ground. Another way to tell which wire is which, usually ground wire is black. So if one wire is black, the other one is power. And we want to tap our trigger wire into the power wire. So let's feed our trigger wire to the tail light and tap it into the power wire. Now, one of the most simple ways to tap into the power wire is using one of these wire splice T-connectors, where you put the existing power wire inside these jaws of a T-connector, then lock the top part to secure the connector on the wire, and plug the new wire with a spade into the connector from this side. I like to pre-cut the insulation slightly first. And let's remove some insulation from the trigger wire as well. After fitting the power wire in, lock the top part to secure the T-connector on the wire. Next, fit the red trigger wire into the spade connector and crimp it. The last step, plug the spade into the T-connector. To learn more about splicing wires, you can check my How to Splice Wires Together video. Now let's go ahead and check and make sure that it works. Turn the key on and put it in reverse. And there we go. The field of view has changed. There are some safety markers on the screen and 5 viewing options. Now you got to remember those safety markers are there just to give you a general idea of where everything is, but they are definitely not going to fit your vehicle in particular. You may want to run around with some chairs and whatnot to see where everything is in relation to those markers so you don't hit somebody, but definitely do not rely on those markers alone. Once we confirm that everything is working and is functional, we can start putting everything back together. Secure the wires to the existing harness with some electrical tape, tuck them away where possible, and make your final camera adjustments for optimal viewing. So this is how you install a mirror-mounted dash camera on your vehicle. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Links to all the products you saw in this video will be in the description. Share your feedback in the comments below. Thank you for watching, good luck, and take care.